All right, here's the next one. It also has sound. The subtle sounds, but they're there. The reason why I picked this one because I watched a couple of them, and they're all about bam, going back and fighting and shooting and explosions. And I love this one because he gets hit, and then it's all about the pain. It's like, wait, I'm not done. Shoulders up. It hurts. That's the whole shot. I love this. I love that this is the idea and the motivation behind all this. And then at the end, I love that it's the car that brings the character forward. The only thing I would say is that there's a crazy off-model thing. When you look at this is the face to some degree, right? I mean, it's a bit of a squash throughout the thing because he's fairly in pain, but that's kind of the look of it. Here at the end, it gets a bit weird. I think it's okay to stretch things, but there's something about, especially this area, that's so over. He just turns into a totally different character. Just design-wise, I think it would be interesting to do that more with an open mouth, so to keep that distance here shorter. Open the mouth, and you can still have a little stretch there, and maybe tweak the hair to get the feeling of a stretch in there, then to massively change the structure of the head like that. Other than that, I think body-wise, there's sometimes it's a bit clunky. Watch out, they got some intersection right there. I know it's quick, you will never see it, but I would still go. The rest is really nicely presented here. The renders are really cool. And actually, you just told me that it's done in Unreal, so it's really neat. But if you spend that time already, you need to kind of just watch out for stuff like that. I would also offset fingers to get a bit more, not complex, just a bit more of an appealing change in the shapes. Also angles, like this seems very default, and just a bit not enough of a thought out pose there. I'm also sorry, I'm almost distracting myself. It feels like you are fighting the frame. It's like the hands cannot go out and give us enough of an arc where it needs to stay in frame and then it comes in. That's a bit odd. I think I would loosen it up and give it a bit of a nicer arc versus what's there. Again, fingers are just, to me, it's the basic thing. Even here, thumb is still out, but only these guys are curled in. And it's also a bit, you have weight shifts in terms of like the pelvis, but it feels like that can be just delayed a bit. He steps on this, but the weight is not on that leg yet. I will keep the hips like this, and then as he gets over, then they shoot up a bit more. And that's just okay. I mean, there's enough movement here that I can push off into that move over there, but I wonder if that could be a bit more bent with the leg to give us a bit of a nicer line, so it's not so harsh in there. Yeah, and then even here the camera goes with the body. There's some funky camera body relationship stuff where I would overshoot and then keep the camera here, the body goes forward, and then delay that camera move by maybe 5-6 frames, and then it comes back to us. But I do like the look. This is again really nicely done with the renders and just the way it's framed. I just love this, like the idea of him going, "Arr!" But with that pain, again, I would give it a bit of a grouping of the fingers. I would tighten that fist and maybe, just a bit more, because you have so much tension. Like the shoulders are so high that I would keep doing this and really have a close, tight fist. I mean, I could see that going like that with the fist. It doesn't have to be like a punching type or whatever you want to, whatever fist that is. But I can see that. But you could also get into like a tighter hand maybe, just to get a bit of a change in posing. Just this feels too soft and loose to me. There's something about this that could work. Again, I love the end. I love the depth of field that we're still focused somewhat on this. It just has a kind of a nice little toy look to it. But that's mostly that. For me, it was just kind of the mechanics are just a bit weird through there with the hips in the root. Just that. And also probably I would ease in just a bit more. Not that it's super realistic, but there's something about that. There's a prolonged feeling of off balance where I would rotate that body a bit over, and then when he goes over, it just kind of stops very harshly. I would kind of overshoot a bit and just soften that moment there so it's not super harsh. Because when you look at this, there's still enough of a overshoot and keep alive in the body that it's not super stylized in terms of stops and goes. So that's why this one right there. Just feels a bit harsh in its stop. Yeah, and then this one just feels, this kind of hurts a bit, that pose. But again, idea is great. I love what you're doing with this, and I love that it's the car that moves the character forward. I also like the little stop on the car. Watch how the car goes down. Right there. It's neat. Now, my picky, let's see. Am I seeing a rotation in the wheels? I'm not sure. Just wanted to check how detailed that is. What is that? That must be just a light, or is this something? I don't know. Look at the detail. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'm starting to noodle things for weird reasons. Also weird reasons, like that belt is weirdly locked on those two frames here. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's a really great clip, great idea, and really nice presentation.